The Pokemon market is dead. Okay, that's a little bit dramatic, but yeah, we are definitely in a massive dip right now in regards to Pokemon card values and popularity. And today I want to run through some examples to highlight exactly what I'm talking about, then explain to you why I believe it's happening, and then finally let you know whether or not I think now is the perfect time to be buying cards. So yeah, get yourself comfy guys, let's jump into it. Alright, so we are going to talk everything about the Pokemon card market dip that we're going through right now. But I do want to just point something out at the very start before we jump into it. And that is, I'm not complaining, right? I actually personally think this is a good thing, because I think it's making Pokemon far more accessible once again, and a far less daunting hobby to get into, with prices not being so astronomical. Things aren't being scalped at all. We're actually seeing more stuff going for below RRP on release. For example, on my website, Evo Cards, by the way, check it out, link down below. Little selfless plug right there. But yeah, I actually feel that this is a good thing that the prices are lower. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, just wanted to get that out of the way. So as I said earlier, we're going to break this video down into like 3 different sections. Firstly, we're going to run through some examples to really drive home the point of this dip to show you where it's going on. Also then want to talk to you guys about why I think this happened. And then finally, I want to talk to you about whether or not now is a good time to buy cards. And then as a little bonus at the end, I'm going to show you like 3 cards that are defying the odds of this Pokemon dip and are actually continue to hold price, and if not even rise in value in some occasions. So yeah, stick around to the end for that. Other than that though, if you are new here guys, do make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. I've got some big stuff coming, really going to highlight some cards that I think are worth buying that are super cheap to get your hands on right now. Video coming around that, so make sure you do hit that subscribe button, ring that alert bell, and give the video a like if you like this sort of content. It'd be very much appreciated. All right then, let's start running through some examples. And what I'm actually using here, by the way, is TCG Player. This is like an American selling platform, really popular over in America. Now, it's not going to be accurate like for pricing for us based here in the UK, but what it does is give you a good visual representation of price movement. That's what I very much like about this site, and that's the thing we're kind of more focused on, is the shape of these graphs. So bear that in mind. But if you want to have a look at some cards yourself, I will chuck a link in a pinned comment down below, along with a question of what your thoughts are when it comes to the Pokemon card market right now. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Are you buying? Are you selling? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, first card up, and this is a perfect example. If you ever want to see what the market is doing, look at a Charizard card and see what the price movement is doing. And that's what I've done here. The Evolutions Charizard. Obviously, this card has seen some extreme hype over the past like couple of years, and we're now seeing some lows actually, guys. As you can see here, we've got the blue line represents the holo, the green line represents the reverse. Weirdly, I swear at one point reverse actually jumped ahead of it in value and stuff like that due to how hard it was to get a 10. But this is one of the most graded Pokemon cards in the world right now, and the price has come down. As you can see, the holo was like up near the 65 range. It's now down near the 45 range. So a big drop, and you can just see that gradual dropping in price over the last 6 months. Another Charizard here, the Shining Fates Charizard, the Charizard VMAX, beautiful card, one I absolutely love. I have in my collection, which I adore. I'm a mad Charizard fan, guys, if you haven't worked it out. But yeah, the price on this card in the last 6 months has gone from nearly over $100 and has dropped down now below and pushing down to the $60 mark in value. Obviously a big decline over the last 6 months. And I don't want to just use Charizards to highlight this. We of course have stuff like Alt-Arts. They were really popular from the Sword and Shield era. You've got the Lugia V going from near $190 down to what's that, $150 now. We even had one that went even lower. As you can see, another drop there. Another awesome card that I love, the Mew V. But look how cheap this card is now to buy. And actually, this is going to be a video that I'm going to be doing soon where I talk about a lot of these Alt-Art cards and whether or not you should be buying them, because there is a market there that is so cheap to buy right now if you collect Alt-Arts. It's actually something I personally collect. We'll talk more about that in a future video, but I wanted to highlight this Mew. It's like halved in value pretty much. You know, it's gone from what, over $40, probably pushed up near 50 at one point there in the last 6 months, down to what, under $30 in value. That's a movie Alt-Art that was hype when Fusion came out. Now, final card I really want to highlight here is the Moonbryon. This is one of the most hype modern cards, and it bamboozles me, the popularity and the hype and the value people pay for a modern card. This is a card that was printed in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, guys. This card is literally, it's not a vintage card yet. It outrivals in value so many vintage cards that you're just like, what the hell? Like, that is really hard to get hold of. Yet this, in theory, is quite easy. People are selling these left, right and center, and you can still buy product and potentially pull it, and the product's not going to break the bank like a base set booster box yet. It still blows the mind, the value on this card. But you can see the hype on this card is starting to come down. We were over $600. We're now down near the $550 mark, and it's slowly coming down. And actually, I feel like this card is in a little bubble right now that is slowly moving. I find you get a lot of cards within this era where just hype all of a sudden goes around it. The price of it goes up. My advice, if that ever happens with stuff, is you sell your card if you have it at that point. Never buy. Like right now, I would not buy a Moonbrewer right now. I really wouldn't. I think the price of this has just continued to come down. I would be selling my Moonbrewer right now if I was to do anything. That's just my takeaway from it. But you can see on the graph, the price is coming down. Now, why are these prices dropping in value? Now, there's a few reasons for it. Now, the first one, and it might only be a small factor, but I do believe it is a factor, is Lorcana. Disney Lorcana hype is going nuts right now. And what I think you're seeing is a lot of people who were in Pokemon who are basically just flipping cards, trying to buy those higher ones, price them up, blah, 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 make more money, etc. Those people are not really seeing the returns on their cards from Pokemon right now. And they're seeing an opportunity on Lorcana, and they're jumping to Lorcana, and you're seeing prices in Lorcana cards just going up. And I do think you have had a group of people shift over to it. I actually know some people personally who aren't doing it for the value, but just because they're a bit bored of Pokemon now, who have moved their attention to Lorcana. And when you have people focusing elsewhere, it just takes people out of the market who are potentially buying stuff, and it drives the prices down. And some people are just trying to sell their Pokemon collections to buy Lorcana now and stuff like that. So, you know, it's definitely a buyer's market right now, isn't it? So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, I think Lorcana has had an effect. I do want to get your thoughts on that though, around Lorcana. Do you feel like it is taking people away from the Pokemon hobby and moving, or are people doing it in tangent? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know. Another factor, guys, is summer holidays right now. And if you look back through the history of Pokemon, every summer, prices of cards dipped. Look, it's more dramatic now because values are kind of higher than they were sort of 4 years ago. You know, we still haven't hit card values as low as they were pre-COVID. Like when I was collecting before COVID, it was like the Evolution Charizard, you could buy it for like £25 was about the price, just to give you an idea. You know, we've definitely stepped up a level. We went here and then came back down to here, and we're now here, but we're still above values that they were prior to like the COVID era and the Logan Paul era and stuff like that. But you've always seen, even if you look back that far, it wasn't as drastic, but dips during the summer holidays. We are in the summer holidays now. People are on holiday, people are spending money on other things, etc, etc, etc. It will always dip around this time of year. Another big factor has got to be the rise of the live auction platform Whatnot. It's actually a platform I personally sell on and I buy on, and I love it because you get great deals. You also, like as a buyer, you get great deals, but as a seller, it's an opportunity to sell stuff faster with necessarily not as much effort as it does on other platforms. You don't have to photo every card and do lots of things, because you get to literally be on camera, hold the card up, show all the marks and everything, and then you know the chances of returns are so slim now because people see exactly what they're buying. Like as a seller, I absolutely love it, but as a buyer, what I love is things go cheaper. 100%. The Whatnot has driven down prices within other parts of the market because people are buying on there, because you'll get a card that maybe has a value of, let's say, £100. You're about to pick it up for like 75 because you're fighting against less people to try and buy that card over a 30-second or 1 minute window. And I do think it's had a very big factor in picking up deals. I know a bunch of people in my community are collecting cards and buying a lot of stuff via Whatnot because you just get great deals and you can buy off people you know, trust, and like want to support as well, which I love. And I do recommend it as well, guys. If you are new to the community or you're watching this video and you haven't done it yet, do give it a go, guys. Honestly, I really love it and recommend it. Make sure you're following people you trust. Make sure, you know, come and check me out, guys. I'll put a link in the description down below. We do single sales all the time where we just go through collections we picked up and we just find new homes for them and you get stuff on the cheap. We do bundles, all sorts of breaks. Yeah, and if you use the link actually in the description down below, you'll get £10 credit to use on Whatnot. So you'll be able to kind of get some free stuff as well after you do your first purchase, which is pretty cool, guys. So yeah, check it out. I do think it's definitely had a factor on the prices of cards. Now, the final reason that I think that Pokemon prices are low as well, and I actually do think this is a biggie, is hype. And the hype has been killed off because of Scarlet and Violet. I believe Scarlet and Violet has kind of drained people a little bit. I feel like if you look at some set price comparisons, for example, if I put on like a Sword and Shield set up there and a Scarlet and Violet, you can see the difference in the top cards and their values. It's massive. I just don't feel Scarlet and Violet era has captivated people like the Sword and Shield era, because bear in mind, a lot of people got back into Pokemon during the Sword and Shield era, during COVID. I feel like people felt more like the game came out as well, didn't it, and stuff. People felt more connected to that, whereas I feel like Scarlet and Violet has been harder to grab the interest of people, and actually people who collect have and were looking forward to Scarlet and Violet. As soon as it's now come out, I've seen people who are now just going back and buying cards from Sun and Moon era instead of going forward with Pokemon. They're actually regressing and starting to collect stuff from older eras because they're just not infused by the Scarlet and Violet era, and people are feeling burnt out. And I am not gonna lie to you guys, I'm one of them. I'm not massively infused about getting any of these Scarlet and Violet era cards. The only particular one that I think is going to have some peak and some interest will be 151. Talk more about that in a minute. But as a whole, if you just look at some of the prices like I was showing you earlier, it's not comparable. Stuff had more value and popularity from Sword and Shield era than it does from now. It's just really being driven down. And I think Scarlet and Violet has had a big effect in this dip. Okay, so basically, are the prices going to rise and should you buy? So, regards prices rising over the next 6 to 12 months, what I would say is that Christmas will see a rise. The summer holidays will be over, so we will see a slight bit of rise. I feel like we are at a low point now, and I don't feel like it would get a great deal lower, and if anything towards the end of the year it might start to peak. Also, 151 coming is going to bring a lot of popularity. I feel a lot of people pre-ordered 151 because it was put up for pre-order quite early, and because of that they're not spending their money on anything else, they're just waiting for 151 to come. So we could see a rise. I think it'd be interesting to see when 151 comes how many of those top tier cards, the Charizards, you know, the Blastoise, the Venusaurs, stuff like that, the Zapdos, are they going to have a big value, or are they going to be £30-40 cards? I think if we don't see any cards in that set break that £100 mark, it's definitely a sign of the times to come. I think if we start to see some of those cards sitting consistently over £100, then maybe it's going to show a pickup. But I think it will be a big factor to analyze what happens when 151 releases. I'm sure we'll do a video to talk about that at the time. So yeah, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss that. But is it actually a good time to be buying right now? And I would say yes. And the reason I say that is I think prices are being driven down to such a low point right now with card prices, is that if you buy a card for, let's say, £40, if it drops in value, you're probably going to lose. You know, let's say, for example, you lose 10% on that card. 10% on £40 is £4, right? However, if we were back 2 years ago and you bought something, that card might have been worth £100, 10% is £10. The difference is quite drastic, you know. So I think with the prices being lower, if you buy now and you do lose money, it's such a small amount that it's kind of like negligible. You're not really going to worry too much about it unless you're buying some of these higher end cards like that Umbreon and some of these big modern cards that are in a bubble. I wouldn't recommend buying them. However, some of the cheaper ones, the alt art, stuff like that, I would say now is actually a good time to buy them if you're adding them to your collection. If you're buying to sell, I think you're just taking a risk there, guys. No one can guarantee what's going to happen over the coming months with the market. But yeah, in a nutshell, if you're looking right now if you want to add cards to your collection, definitely now is a good time to buy. If you're looking to buy stuff to sell, I think you just need to be a little bit careful there because there's no guarantee of a price rise. I would maybe wait to see what happens when 151 launches if you were looking to buy cards to sell. That would be my advice. All right, let's look at that bonus section and some cards that are defying the odds though. First up, we have the Slowpoke and the Psyduck. As you can see, the price rise again over the last 6 months, and now it's just sitting consistently up in the top over $100. You then have the Gengar and Mimikyu Alt-Art Tag Team as well. That card has gone from, what was it, down at $180. It's now pushing over $300 in value, and again, it's plateaued. And then finally, the Latios and Latios GX Tag Team from Team Up. This thing is stunning. I actually pulled this myself like 4 or 5 years ago out of a collection box, and I love it. It sits in my binder. I'll get it graded at some point with Ace, but it's a gorgeous card. Gone from $400 in the last 6 months to over $800. Like, it's insane, but they are defying the odds and staying there. They're not seeing this big drop again now. They've just kind of gone, and then just plateaued, which is quite amazing really when you look at stuff like the Moonbro has actually started coming down and stuff. These seem to have some real genuine, like, they were actually a bit rarer in the sense of people weren't collecting as much during early Sun and Moon. It was more towards the end of Sun and Moon that they started collecting, and into Sword and Shield era, that was when the big hype was. So I feel like people kind of just missed out on like your Team Up and stuff like that. So that's why these are kind of rarer and harder to get hold of, and actually harder to get hold of in good condition as well. Condition is everything now. I swear, everyone that pulls stuff, it's all sleeved, like stuff is 910s, whereas early Sun and Moon, you'll see a lot more battered, not battered, but less cared for cards. So like these sort of cards in good condition, crazy value. Anyway, that is everything I've got to say about the Pokemon card market dip right now. What's going on, why we got here, is it a good time to buy? Which again, like I said, yes, it definitely is. But what do you think? Give me all your thoughts, theories, questions. You agree with me, you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. Very excited to see what you guys got to say. Other than that though, guys, make sure to come and give me a follow over on Whatnot. Use my link to get that £10 free credit. Come and get involved in some graded slab streams I've got coming up over the next couple of weeks, which I'm very excited for, by the way. After my trip to Japan, I've got all these cards from Japan I graded. Oh, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna give some away. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check out some of my videos, of course. Stay safe. See you in the next one. Peace.